Hello everyone, I'm the Nerdy Fool and welcome back to Rogue Trader. We are on the other side of the portal that the Inquisitor told us to go to and are starting our exploration. We got to this area and have dealt with all of the various planets, which seems to be basically a bunch of Necron stuff. But we are continuing our exploration now to see what else is going on here. I believe... Where did we come in at? Is this the system we arrived in? Because I thought we arrived somewhere, but it had a gate in it, and I didn't see it here. I'm already forgetting things. Yeah, because there's no giant portal. We arrived in a system with a giant portal, and I don't remember where that was, because the other three systems show that they're unexplored. Anyway, chart new routes. Let's see what we find. I was thinking it was here. But maybe not? I'm wanting to hold off on this one because it's got a really weird name. So I feel like I should leave that for last. It's got to be there. We even made a safe route. Let's go back to the debris. I'm curious here. It's a safe jump. Nothing will happen. It says it's uncharted and we haven't explored here, which I just don't believe. No, yeah, here's where we came in with the warp gate. That's the ice world that we've already explored. Huh. Yeah. So it's just lying to me. Glad we've got that sorted out. So we could go to... I guess that's the question. This is the farther away one, which would make me think it's more likely to be the one the quest line, like main quest, wants us to go to, because usually the one that takes farther to get to. Maybe we do go here, because we could have gone there first. I just don't want to miss anything. That's always the question. And all we know is we need to go to Epitaph. Surface world of Epitaph. We don't know where that is. Usually it tells us the system, but in this case it's not. Unless Epitaph is a system and we just haven't found it yet. Alright, we'll go to this one. As much as I want to save it for last because it's sort of weirdly named, it feels like because they were both available on our first jump in, that's gotta not be the final location. If we find something named Epitaph though, we will not land there yet. Because obviously save main missions for later. Although we don't know planet names until we have scanned them. Hello, Necron ring. Whatever you are. And then surely those are more Necrons. I guess let's go around scanning things. I don't know what a Necron ring will be. We'll do the battle last. Nothing here. Just gas giant added to the worlds. Cool. Ooh, an event. Not explored emerald fires. Most of the surface is covered in icy dunes with greenish highlights. Again, that green, in this case, feels very Necron. Everything is Necron here. At first, officers aboard the vessel decide that the unusual color of the ice is due to a quirk of the atmosphere. Later, it becomes evident that the source of the highlights is a group of monstrous pyramidal structures wreathed in an emerald fire. Examining them in detail with magnoculars, it can be seen that one of the monoliths is damaged. A device on its wall emits an energy beam at a similar pyramid not far from itself. Yeah. This whole region is just Necron tomb worlds. It's crazy. Examine the structure. Fire plasma torpedoes at the xenos monoliths would probably be a sensible choice. It's rare to find such an ominous phenomenon on a lifeless ice. Lifeless is a bit of a misnomer, because while Necrons aren't alive, they're definitely not really dead either. Let's examine the structures. The Von Valencia scouts approached the monoliths with as much care as possible, fearing the appearance of an enemy. A small servitor sent to gather data about the energy beam clearly demonstrated the destructive power of the xenotechnology. After carelessly making contact with the beam, it instantaneously broke apart into minuscule pieces. It is curious that the second pyramid is still intact, and that only matter at the source of the beam is being destroyed. Study the surviving monolith. The energy barely reflects off the dark metal of the pyramid. Occasionally, a scarcely visible wave runs across the surface of the monolith's walls. After which the material appears to become even smoother. It's as if one monolith is feeding the other, not destroying it. A few scouts decide to come closer in order to better examine the phenomenon. Perception test succeeded by Cassia. 105. Why is her perception so low? I thought her perception was like in the 160s or something. Weird. The soldiers of the Von Valencius notice a fragment of the metallic rib cage melted right into the material of one of the walls like a bizarre bas relief. Between the rows of ribs, a talisman of black stone shimmers with colored light after each wave of energy. The figure to which the talisman belonged shows no sign of life. After a quick debate, the officers decide to take the artifact on board. Withering Shard. The wearer's strength, toughness, and agility are decreased by 15. The wearer can use Heroic Axe at 125 momentum instead of 175, and Desperate Measures at 50 momentum higher, capped at 100 momentum. The wearer is considered as having heretical adherent if they do not yet have it. Huh. Yeah, we're definitely not using that. It's definitely interesting, though. We've got plenty of people that don't really need strength, toughness, or agility as their main focus, and being able to use Heroic Axe early, like giving that to Cassia so that she can just use it at 125, when I think at the start of battle we started 100 base, would make her ability to use her Heroic Axe way easier. But no. I think we've explored what we want to explore. Let's destroy them now. Fire plasma torpedoes at the Xeno monoliths. The phenomenon seems too dangerous to leave it as is, and the Von Valencius flagship bombards the monoliths until the last fragments are turned to dust by torpedoes and flashes from the pyramid's own deadly weaponry. We gain the accumulated charge. In the next combat, your torpedoes will be unavailable during the first 2 rounds. During and after the 3rd round, their damage will be increased by 25%. Cool. So weakens our start of the next fight, strengthens us after that, which is kind of bad because fights don't usually last too many rounds. Confusion reigns among the void ship's auger operators. The unidentified emission keeps disappearing, then reappearing on their scanners. I didn't read what it was called. I just noticed. At first, it seems the sandstorms are to blame for this, hiding the source of the radiation. A team of explorers easily overcomes these storms and begins studying the surface. As their account suggests, the planet remains littered with broken and mangled ruins of Xenos origin. Insect-like constructs flicker among the ruins, like static on a malfunctioning cogitator. Their black metallic bodies are equipped with grappling blades, which bring to mind the spindly legs of spiders. With each occurrence, the devices look more and more distorted, bent, and sometimes even appear distinctly in the directly in the remnants of walls to overlap each other. The only stable thing in the structure is a deep hole with a melted rock at its center. Whatever purpose this structure served for the Xenos, the meteorite destroyed it long before the arrival of the rogue trader. Huh. So things are just like flickering in and out of existence and sometimes overlapping with each other, if I'm reading that right. That's definitely weird. We will observe the object. Magus Hanuman volunteers to lead the observation team. His passion for the Xenos devices borders on heresy, and he takes a long time after his return to report to the Lord Captain. Later, Pascal admits that he is discouraged by the gap between the scientific accomplishments of the Xenos and the capabilities of modern tech priests. And that's it. No information about what he learned. Nothing on that world. Let's go around to this planet. Avoid the combat. And also nothing on this world. Alright, fine. Again, skipping the combat, we'll go down to the Necron ring. The greenish glow of the gigantic ring made from unknown materials flows through the windows of the captain's bridge. The voidship's instruments measure a whole spectrum of various emissions. Sometimes the dull green is darkened by clouds of space dust or bent by gravitational waves. The object most closely resembles a portal, albeit what's passing through it cannot be clearly defined. Send a team to examine, observe the anomaly, or it's hard to believe that a civilization capable of creating a device as powerful as this one could have undergone such a decline. Somewhat true. We will observe it first before we send a team. I think that's the sensible choice. Arcs of incandescent star gases bursting from the ring pierce the darkness of space, reflected by the surface of other celestial bodies in the system. At times, dark light waves bend the edge of the portal, but they are quickly restored thanks to the enigmatic flowing metal. Then lashes of purple clouds dissected by threads of lightning appear in the center of the ring. An unseen force prevents them from reaching the other side of the portal, as the blocks of black stone become covered in purple-scarlet illumination. Usually purple and lightning is used to reference connections to the warp, like an opening of a portal to the warp. So something's trying to create a warp portal here, but it's also being prevented, maybe? If the ring truly were a portal, it is not fit to serve as one any longer. Stellar heat and gravitational force forbids any vessel from passing through it. According to the ship's astropaths, the purple clouds are an even more dangerous phenomenon, indicating that the powers of the warp are eager to flow out of the portal into real space. As if to highlight its deadliness, with the next wave of dark light, the portal throws open the shattered remains of an unidentified void ship. Throws out the shattered remains. Okay. So potentially it's a device that's intentionally keeping closed a rift to the warp, and the warp is trying to open it. Or it's an old decaying portal to the warp that no longer functions, but the warp is trying to force it open anyway. We'll send a team to examine the object now, as dangerous as it is. Just some ship components. Additional equipment and a closer position allow the team to understand part of what's happening. The portal seems to resemble the gate devices used by the Eldari and Drukhari, only made of a different material. The metallic shrine of the ring alternates with the darkness of the large blocks of stone, reminiscent of the material that makes up the famous Cadian pylons. Huh. I don't know enough about Cadia, or its Cadian pylons, to know what that should tell me. I know Cadia is important. I think when the Maw, which is the giant rift that opened and tore the Empire apart, that sort of blocks those of us on the opposite side from getting back to Terra, I think that rift broke apart at Cadia. And so Cadia is super important because it was, I think, either it was the source of fighting with the warp. Either they were keeping a portal open so that they could get in there to fight, or they were holding, I don't know. Cadia is important. I just don't know enough about 40k lore. Xenos lore test succeeded. Yeah, you've got a score of 226. Why was... I need to go back and check why Cassia's perception was so... or awareness is so low. For that last check that she did. Analysis of the wave signature indicates that the construct once used parts of the webway, the Eldari system of pathways. However, in its current configuration, the portal is not fit for transporting vessels. It is unstable and often begins unleashing dangerous cosmic objects. Instead of transports, the gate spews forth dark light waves and deadly breaths of incandescent gas, the latter taken from the star's photosphere. We gained novelty effect. During the next combat, the flagship's evasion will be increased by 15% against Necron enemies. Well, that sounds great. Well, it's hard to believe a civilization capable of creating a device as powerful as this one could have undergone such a decline. So the Necrons were aware the decline was going to happen. They had groups that were seers able to foresee the future, and they planned for their oncoming decline to sort of go into stasis in their tomb worlds, waiting for a better time to wake back up and take over the galaxy again. So this is all somewhat part of their plan, but I think a lot of their plans failed, and so they're not waking up as they intended. The augurs reveal 2 xenos ships hurtling through clouds of cosmic dust. A message is coming from one of the alien vessels, and on an encrypted Vox frequency used by the Von Valentius dynasty. According to the transmission, Lady Theodore's people are aboard the xenos ship. So it's 2 different xenos ships, but one of them is broadcasting on our encrypted frequency that they are Theodore's people. Weird. Request a report on the enemy. Establish Vox contact. I mean, I don't really trust it. It's xeno ships. It's not a moment to lose, to battle. Let's request a report on the enemy. The augurs are spotting more and more Xenos vessels, but most of them are in a strange state of dormancy. Are they asleep? Dead? Cautiousness dictates not to test this hypothesis. Thankfully, the nebula in the system could allow the Dynasty flagship to evade danger. Let's try to establish Vox contact. The same request for help keeps coming back. We are alive, we are fighting, we need support. Oh, this is a terrible idea. That there are significant numbers that are currently dormant. It's like Necrons are great at appearing dormant for thousands of years. This feels like a trap. That they've copied down our frequency at some point, and they're just reporting it back. And when we go in to help, there's not going to be allies. They're just going to be all Necron enemies. Oh well, there's not a moment to lose. To battle. Might not be a trap. We might have allies in here, but I'm disbelieving at the moment.
The stars will judge you.
So far, we're seeing 2 that are marked as enemies. Shroud-class light cruiser. You are not covered in red. Are you actually an ally? Sleeping. Necron are sleeping. They remain inactive until awoken. Probably if we go in their range. Okay. And yeah, you've got the living metal, so you will start healing until you take too much damage and then disintegrating. Medium range, 192 damage. Yeah. So who all is on this battlefield? We've got you. Not necessarily friendly or an enemy, just currently asleep. You guys are obviously enemies. You are also sleeping. Okay. Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of them that are sleeping. And then you guys are enemies that are waiting, not sleeping. A permanent waiting effect that's different than sleeping. Really weird. I guess the question is, do I... If I just take out these 2... then are we done? Or do I need to take out all the sleeping or dormant, waiting, whatever ones? If I go there, I've got a shot on you, but only one. If I extend the range on that by 2, I've got a second shot. There I won't. Never mind. I can jump forward with a shallow jump. I don't think that's going to give me a side shot, though. I think we'll still barely be out of range. Probably still reasonable to go there and make the shot. Yeah.
Lead them.
Go there. We are staying out of their range. I'm suspecting my allies are going to be dumb and are going to wake up half of these. So let's jump forward now with a shallow jump. And yeah, we definitely can't shoot them with the side, but we can shoot here.
Another salvo!
Sadly, not enough to actually take them out. We'll send out you.
Torpedoes!
You'll get a couple more shots in, but likely still not enough to quite break it this turn, and then they'll heal more than they take the fire damage. There is an ability I keep thinking about getting, but never do, that should give me back my guns. Yeah, this one. It loads all macro cannons that were fired during the acceleration phase. I guess I didn't fire during acceleration. It's one I should use a lot more often. But yeah, as it stands, we'll end our turn here. Can you break them enough to get into the damage state? No, they're left at 7. Alright. Go here. I think that will stop them from moving, which is always fun. Oh, you guys are not waiting as much as you claimed. Are you able to wake up these other allies? Heartless? Oh, you just went right into their zone. Of course you did. And still not quite enough to break them, so they're gonna heal on their turn, unfortunately. That is a shame. Yep. Alright. Oh, and I'm barely out of range to shoot you with that weapon. I could still move forward here, which would allow me to shoot you with my side gun. Let's do that. I can go here and shoot you.
The time has come.
There you go. Then I can shoot you, and I'm still doing my acceleration phase.
Leave their hull strewn across the stars.
Can I can even shoot you with this.
Another salvo.
Really good. Still not down. Okay, at this point, I cannot use this. Reloads all macro cannons. Are these not macro cannons? Plasma. Medium range macro cannons. I don't have people in these two positions. Why? That's probably part of my problem. Can only be used during the end phase. I don't know what that means. But presumably, maybe when we get down here, and we've done all of our movement, then we can reload? I don't know. But I'm thinking we do a new heading, which will allow me to get in line here better. Maybe I'll be able to shoot. On the other hand, I could do a swing run, which would put me here. I don't think I want to do that. We'd be taking damage and take additional damage incoming. Probably not. Let's do new heading. No. That's not going to work. No, so I could go here, and then... No, I can't strafe because we've already used the new heading. No, I don't think there's any way for me to work that, where I can get a shot on them. So again, I could do the swing run. I would be standing there. But it's possible at that point I could then... No, even there. If I did the swing run here, and then I did a shallow jump, maybe then I'd have a shot here. Or if I did a shallow jump, maybe that's the call. If I did a shallow jump forward, then we did my turn, I would be more like back here. Maybe I can get the shot there. You're falling apart. I just want to get you to that same state. We'll do the shallow jump. Can I line you up? No. Thought for a moment that I had it. Nope. You're just barely outside of the range. If I could stand here and shoot that way, we'd have it. But if by going to there, it just barely moves around them. That is disappointing. But it is what it is.
Set the course.
I think that's where I've got to go regardless. Come on. Alright. Oh, but I can use this now, so that would give me some of my guns back. So yes, going to this point where we're at the deceleration phase, that's apparently what they're calling the end phase. We can get back our dorsal cannons, which would get me this shot. And that would be enough. Alright. Go for it.
Leave their hull strewn across the stars!
Now we got tons of fire going on. I can't launch any more fighters. Why not? I could send out torpedoes, for whatever that's worth. Oh, now I can send out starfighter. That's weird. If I gave extra distance, I could shoot you too. I'm willing to do that. Let's get a couple more shots off there. Might as well. Beautiful. Let me send these out. Okay. Send you here. Not quite to block them, unfortunately. But you can still get some shots off. You can jump. It's not going to actually block them. You've got to travel farther. This one gonna wake up because of the Heartless? That's what I don't know yet. Or this one gonna wake up because of that enemy. Fine. All right. You're kind of in the way.
This one's going down.
A bit excessive, but it's fine. Now you guys, are you counted as being... Yeah, you're definitely in the gas and dust cloud, which will give you more evasion. You are not in the gas cloud. But for me to be at an angle I can shoot at you, I've got to get into the gas cloud, which is going to hurt my accuracy. If I was coming along through the middle of you two, I could shoot with both of my guns. I'm not going to be able to reuse that anytime soon. Because if I went here, I could hit either of you with that, or both of you on the sides. And I'm cool with that. Focus on this one because we're not taking additional penalties for them being in the gas.
Leave the hull!
We're taking penalties for us being in the gas, but I can't do anything about that.
Fire right now! Leave the hull!
I didn't even look at that percent, but it wasn't good, I don't think.
Torpedoes!
Let's also do a warp wave on you. There we go. That broke him. Fantastic. Yeah. Good with that. When you get close enough for the shot, you can't. That is a shame. Go there anyway. You can get a shot off here, so I might as well have you do so. You don't do enough damage to these healthy ones to matter. I mean, you don't do enough damage regardless, but at least you did 1 point of damage. Wow, that is super bad. At least attacking this one, you're theoretically doing some damage that's not going to just immediately reheal. Oh, I just moved you right into that range. That's probably not smart. It's fine, probably, maybe. I still don't know what's going on with these sleeping ones. I assumed going into the range would be what would wake them up, but the Heartless did so, and we were fine. 73. It's not amazing, but it's probably good enough.
Right now!
Good. Yeah, our range is super limited because we're in the fog. If I used that, I could get an angle here, but you're dead already. There's not really a point. So probably at this point... Oh, I forgot you are there. I should probably focus on you. That's my right gun. So let's start moving... I guess we can move forward like here. Now we gotta move a bit more forward than that. That'll be good. Let's go to there. We can use this shot.
Bleed them!
Then you.
Macro cannon, volley!
Didn't quite do enough. That will do
Lay
enough.
in the course.
Okay. You'll die out soon enough. Yeah, I don't know. Once all of the awake ones are dead, I don't know what happens next. So you're gonna die on your turn. Or right now. We'll go there. You're still sleeping. Oh, I guess I thought the ones down here were already in that dead or dying state. I didn't realize we left behind one that was just a little injured. Well, that's a bit of a problem. We'll need to come back down here and do some cleanup. Because I doubt the Heartless can take it down on its own. We'll just finish you off while we're here. There you go. So yeah, we're going to need to make our way down there. Best way to do that is going to be probably a swing run. Actually, might be new heading to go here, because that ends our turn way back there.
The time has come.
Yeah, that doesn't get us really that close, but I think it's the closest we could get based on our previous heading. That display telling me? I'm unsure. I mean, you can start making your way over here, but you're probably going to run out of fuel and need to go back to the ship right away. Where are you going? Alright, well, they came closer. That's convenient for me. Unfortunately, probably not good enough. That'll get me a shot there. Then if I do a shallow jump, probably I'm not going to have an angle to pull off one of my side shots.
Fire the lance batteries!
Shallow jump should get me close enough to the Melta Bomber, though. Please? Oh, suddenly I'm not close enough because now... I wish it was better at doing that analysis. Now that I'm in this range, it's like, oh, actually your range is shorter. And it's like, you could have known that when I said I was going to be there and take the shot that my range would be shorter. Come on. Alright, we'll do the shallow jump.
This one goes down.
Barely outside of range. We'll increase our range by 2.
Macro cannon, volley!
No. That looked like those last couple should have been enough, but I guess not.
Unleash up!
Let's see. Can you do enough to break it? Perfect. What are you doing? Just watching some of these, like, computer-controlled allies, and sometimes it's like, you're making some odd choices. I'm assuming once we take this guy out, the others are going to wake up. Alright, that'll get me a shot on you. And it's currently calculating as if I'm going to be in the cloud when I'm there, which I obviously won't be. But I think that's the reasonable spot to go to anyway.
Bleed them!
Another victory
Okay.
of 2 great dynasties, Lord Captain.
Battle's over. We did not have to battle the sleeping ones. Very interesting. The xenos are defeated and your men board the enemy ship, cutting their way through the bulkheads to the source of the signal. They find the decayed remains of Von Valencia's boarding party. One of the corpses is clutching a voxcaster, sending the voices of the dead out into the void. All of them fell many decades ago. Okay. A data slate and a weapon that belonged to the commander of the boarding party were recovered from the dead men's belongings. The words, "Hope is poison, kill it, and death becomes easy and desirable," were scratched into the stock. Heavy Enforcer autocannon. Rate of fire 7, doing 10 to 11 damage. I still, because of enemy armor, I still think it's better to do 1 or a limited number of really heavy damage strikes rather than a high rate of fire with light damage. Study the contents of the data slate. Bring the remains up to the flagship and give them a proper burial in the crypt. That's not a bad call. Or bomb the Necron ship along with the corpses. Also not a bad call. Let's study the contents of the data slate first. You find a single order given by Lady Theodora. The boarding party was commanded to infiltrate the Xeno vessel and hold off the enemy until the Dynasty flagship withdraws to a safe distance. So they were a distraction to save the flagship. Alright, then we will bring them onto the flagship and give them a proper burial in the crypt because they did their job properly. A prayer service for the fallen is broadcast throughout the ship. In the following days, people line up to honor the martyrs in the ship's chapels. I think that is everywhere here explored now. And there wasn't anything particularly exciting, even though it had a weird name. I assumed there would be something strange here. I guess there was a Necron ring.